Hey guys, Chris here, and welcome to another Dark Avengers comic book review. Officially, it is Easter weekend. This video is going up, and actually it's 12 o'clock, so it is being recorded on Easter Sunday. I want to wish each and every one of you out there a happy Easter. I'm not sure if you guys are going to actually be watching this on Easter. You'll probably be watching it.
Not everybody celebrates.
Well, it doesn't matter. Some of the people that do, you probably won't be watching this on Easter. So happy late Easter for those of you who are watching this on Monday and beyond. Also with me, as always, is Amber, and
happy
you guys
Easter,
know,
guys.
And you guys know my cameraman Mike.
Hello and happy
And I'm
Easter.
sorry, every time I think of Easter, I think of that bunny going. It's just hilarious. What? The cat made
She's
eggs?
that Easter bunny that sits on the egg, if you know what I mean.
I'm not crazy.
Oh, darn it, I was just about to do that too.
I'm not crazy. I'm not a bunny who thinks it's a chicken.
Anyway, so news-wise for comic books, Fear itself is getting a lot of news. War of the Green Lanterns is getting a lot of news for the ramifications of War of the Green Lanterns. Brightest Days winding down to the after effects, and Flashpoint is getting a lot of news. Other than that, I have no idea. I haven't been on the internet in the past few days due to spring break. So I have a lot to catch up on myself. For those of you guys who are interested in any of the news, you know you can always go on cbr.com. I'm going to be posting links on my channel sooner or later once I get around to editing my channel a little bit more. But anyway, let's get into the books for this week, which was April 20th, 2011. First off, a book that isn't out yet. It will be out next week, however, and it's from one of my favorite independent publishing companies, Radical Publishing, their Radical Comics line. Part 3 of 4, Earp, Saint for Sinners. And I'm sorry guys, I really wish I could review this, but I've yet to get the first book yet, so I really can't give you guys an honest review of the series thus far. It's Earp in modern day time though, and I've got to be honest with you guys, I don't have the first book, but I'm telling you it's a great story, it's a great book. I would absolutely recommend it. Watch.
And in case you want to find these books, go to this website right here.
Yes, but they already know that because I post the links in the description.
Well, I know, but at least they can see it, just in case they didn't see
Okay.
the link.
The artwork is great, the story is great. Once again, it's Earp in
Kissing.
normal time.
Kissing.
I mean, here is an example of the artwork. I love the motorcycle scene. So, I would absolutely recommend you guys pick this book up, check it out. It's at your local comic book stores next week. As I said, I wish I could review the entire series, but unfortunately I don't have the first book, so I can't give you guys anything more than a shout out for the book and tell you guys that this is definitely something you want to buy. Same thing with Abattoir. I'm still waiting on the first few books so that I can do an honest review of it. Jumping into comic books from a different company, Boom Studios presents Stan Lee presents Soldier Zero #7. The second story arc is officially here as far as they're telling us. The suit is giving Stewart a memory. The last memory the suit has with its previous host. Why the host came to Earth, why the suit came to Earth, and how what caused the host to die, etc., etc. Turns out the Soldier 1s had turned on the Soldier 0s, etc., etc. I don't want to give you guys too much information. I want you guys to check this out. It's really good. All the Stan Lee books have been great. And also there is an interlocking, crossover between this and the Traveler, because they talk about, once again, the split second men, which you can see in the Traveler, which you will see in the Traveler. They will be in future episodes of the Traveler. So anyway, Stewart wakes up from the dream, and he's with Ap9, who is now apparently Stewart's friend, who work here, and Ap9 talks about people who want to take Stewart's space technology and market it to the world, etc., etc., like him. And turns out Stewart turns into Soldier Zero. The government comes in, and the government, of course, wants to quarantine Stewart. And him and Ap9 end up fighting the soldiers. And then in the end, the memory starts up yet again. And basically the memory is saying what it said from the very beginning of this comic. Basically, the entity that's been talking to Stewart, the suit, is dying. And basically only one of them is going to have control. And they end the comic like that. So
The suit taking control?
no, basically the memory says either Stewart or the suit are going to have complete control over Stewart and the suit. It depends who's the strongest, and of course it's going to be Stewart. You know it is.
Hopefully.
I'll be honest, guys, it's not really jump on friendly because if you don't know how they got to where they are right now, but apparently they're telling you that it is because they're calling this part 1 of the second story. So I guess it is jump on friendly. It really is, but you just don't know how they ended up at the how the hospital ended up in a government quarantine, how they literally moved it from one place to another. So you might have to get the back issues, but I'd absolutely recommend this. All 3 Stan Lee books have been great. I really can't hierarchy any of them. I can say I am enjoying Soldier Zero and the Traveler the most, but I also am enjoying the other book as well. So I really can't say get these or don't get one. You have to get all 3. All 3 are great in my opinion. Starborn is I couldn't remember the name for the life of me for a second there, but Starborn is good too, but I have to admit Soldier Zero and the Traveler had me hooked from book 1. Starborn took a little while for me to actually enjoy, but I enjoy Starborn now too. Alright, moving into Marvel, you go to Midtown. This book is quoted at $1.99, but Midtown is giving them away for free, one per customer. Marvel Backlist Reading Chronology. Basically, it's all the books that all the trade paperbacks from Marvel that have been released, from Captain America to X-Men, all in order.
Oh wow!
And yes, you can. And it gives you a rundown of all the books, like the Ultimate Universe. You don't have to look at it, Mike. I'm just saying. I'll hold it up. We're in the Ultimate Comics right now. Then it goes into the X-Men. They're talking about the X-Men here. And then they go into Wolverine. I believe it's in order.
It's like
alphabetical order.
Oh, what's it called?
Yeah, it is in
like
alphabetical
an
order. Basically. Yeah, it is. I say basic. I've been saying basically a lot in this video. I actually want to go into X-Men First Class.
Is that Emma Frost?
That's X-Men Origins.
But is that Emma Frost?
Yes, that is Emma Frost.
Actually, is a good picture of her, and I have to say that because okay. I don't particularly like her, but that's a pretty good picture of her.
Moving into comic books this week, my least favorite from Marvel. I don't know. Silver Surfer 3 of 5. And the reason it's my least favorite is because, okay, I picked this book up because I wanted to enjoy a Silver Surfer story. And Silver Surfer is not even Silver Surfer in this series. He lost his powers in the very first issue, and now he's human. He falls in love with this girl, and then I have to get this right because I don't want to say it wrong. The High Evolutionary turns the girl that he fell in love with into the Seeker, which is basically his harbinger, kind of like Silver Surfer was, because he mentions he needs a I can't even pronounce his name. Here it is. Herald. He needs a herald, and Silver Surfer thinks he's talking about him. He wants Silver Surfer to be Silver Surfer again. He says hell no, and then he turns the girl into the girl's name is Susie, into the Seeker, who is like the new Silver Surfer. And in the next issue, I'm looking forward to the next issue, the FF actually gets involved. So this could be a good thing. Maybe Silver Surfer will come back and it'll save the series, in my opinion. I just wanted to see Silver Surfer. I didn't want to see him lose his powers and not have to struggle to get them back. I mean, yeah, that's a good story too, but I was kind of hoping, especially with the covers other than this cover and the last cover, I was actually hoping for just a straight up Silver Surfer as Silver Surfer story. I guess that's not what this series was intended for. Maybe they'll make Silver Surfer ongoing from this. What? Yeah. Okay, moving into the Wolverine run, because we've got a couple of Wolverine runs here. The conclusion, Wolverine and Jubilee 4 of 4. Wolverine is trying to save Jubilee. Jubilee is hopping around from object to object in the zone she's in, and ends up fighting this huge dragon. Rockslide somehow finds a way into this zone, as does Wolverine, and they basically save Jubilee, beat up the... Jubilee actually is the one that destroys the huge dragon, and that's basically the end. And then there's a confrontation between Wolverine and Emma Frost, and in my head I'm saying, Wolverine, just slap her, just knock her out, do something. I would never condone violence against women, but Emma Frost is definitely not a woman, so I would condone it. In this one case, I'd say Wolverine, just slap her or do something to her, because I can't stand her.
No, technically she is a woman, but yes, everybody wants to slap her.
Yes, I agree. So, anyway, the series was great. Would I say pick this up in trade? Absolutely. absolutely. The artwork was awesome. Here, I'll show you guys some artwork so you can get an idea of the artwork in the book. The artwork was absolutely awesome. Jubilee, unfortunately, is a vampire still, yeah, unfortunately.
Does she have her powers?
Yeah, no, she doesn't have her mutant powers. She has her vampire powers. She basically gets incinerated and then comes back through smoke. She actually animates through. She turns into her body basically animates as smoke, and then she completely animates.
Again?
Oh, here we go. Here's a picture of Wolverine.
She becomes herself again.
Yeah, basically she reforms. Yeah, no, vampires. You know, you could basically destroy them and they come back no matter what. You have to stick a stake through them or something. And apparently
if you burn
not
them, they die.
Well, she came back.
That's probably because of her mutant powers.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Emma Frost mentioned, did she come back because of your healing factor, Wolverine, etc., etc., and he said, I don't know. Absolutely great series. Absolutely pick it up and trade. Unless you'd like to buy the 4 issues. It is the Curse of the Mutants Aftermath, because it is all about Jubilee and what happened in Curse of the Mutants. Absolutely check it out. Great 4 issues. I don't say that too often with miniseries, because miniseries always have their way of letting you down at certain times. So, if I say it's good, you guys gotta know it's good. So, check it out. Going into Uncanny X-Force number 8. Yes, I know last week was number 7. They apparently double shipped. They've sent 2 out this month. And it's about a old enemy of Psylocke. I keep forgetting his name, though. She basically locked him away in a dream world. And Deadpool actually is the one that goes in and goes off the radar, and they have to go find Deadpool. And actually, in the very beginning, Psylocke goes into Warren's mind and locks away Archangel because he's some real psychotic person.
These are all trade paperbacks, right?
Yes, and hardcovers. Apparently, all these story arcs in X-Force are leading into the Dark Angel reign, or whatever they're going to call that series, I forgot, but it's basically the conflict between Archangel and Angel, and all these stories are somehow interlocked to reach out and to lead us into that series, which is going to be coming out after the Age of X passes through X-Force. That's going to be the next story arc. So she basically locks away the Archangel. So Angel is just Angel now, except he turns into Archangel when he's with X-Force.
Please excuse me for a minute.
Yes.
Can you get me out?
Can you get out? And while she's getting out, I'm going to try to get the name. Here we go. Amal. So anyway, in the end, basically, he goes into Amal goes into Archangel's mind and Angel's mind and releases Archangel, and Psylocke tries to stop him because she says you don't know what you're doing, and let's just say he doesn't come out of it alive. And Archangel casts Psylocke out and tells her you won't remember any of this, and she gets cast out, and Archangel ends up killing one of the soldiers. And nobody knows that he didn't have to kill the soldier at all. The soldier was completely disoriented and didn't even know what he was doing. And he just walks off, and it's the end. The next cover looks amazing, though. That looks really cool. I can't wait to see what's going to go on with Magneto. If it even is Magneto. I don't know if it's even Magneto. X-Force has been awesome. I'm actually looking forward to what all this is leading into with Archangel. I'm very interested in seeing the character development of Archangel and what's going to happen exactly to Angel at some point, if he's going to end up being stuck as Archangel, because Archangel believes in killing everything. He's like the dark version of Angel, as we all know. Anybody who's a fan of X-Men knows that. So it's the conflict that's going to be coming out soon, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the conflict is in this. And we've been talking so much about Wolverine, why not talk about his next issue, Wolverine 8, the conclusion finally to Wolverine trapped in hell, then come out of hell and trapped in his mind. Wolverine's still fighting for his mind, and it turns out everything in his mind is a figment, is a memory, or is his version, his memory. They're not really alive. So when Nightcrawler shows up, and then later, soon after, Phoenix shows up, which is great to actually see Phoenix once again in a comic book, even if it is through Wolverine's memory. Everybody thinks that they're alive, and it turns out they're just memories or parts of Wolverine's mind to defend against the demons. In the end, basically, Jean is the one that has Wolverine finally snap out of it, and she says, "Do you want to live?" He says, "Damn right I do," and she says, "Then live." And basically, she uses her fire phoenix power in his mind and destroys all the demons. And I want to actually show a picture of what Jean looks like, and of course, Emma Frost and her have their words. Here's what Jean looks like, and then Emma Frost and her have a confrontation right over there. I don't like Emma Frost. And then he comes out of it, and actually he utters the word Jean like in a low voice, and that's what stops Cyclops from frying him. And it turns out that towards the end, Cyclops wants to talk to Wolverine about, did you see Jean? And he says, this isn't the time to talk about it. And then he says, what's the time for then? And all I'm going to say is this: I will leave you off with the last picture of the book. He's going for revenge against the people that did this to him. And Nightcrawler isn't, in his mind, Nightcrawler isn't too happy with that, but you could tell that that's what it's going to... I'm looking forward to this. X-Men Giant Size #1, but this is the new one they're going to be making. That looks really cool. I can't wait to see what that's all about. So I'm actually looking forward to that. And Mystique apparently is the next stop on the first stop on Wolverine's vengeance trail. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this is going. So Wolverine's been really, really awesome. For those of you who want to jump into Wolverine, issue 9 is where he starts his revenge. But unfortunately, you won't know what his revenge is unless you get the past 8 issues. But I have a feeling they're going to trade paperback the first 8 issues, or at least the first 4, and then do the other 4. So trade paperback the first couple of stories if you can't get the first 8 issues. But if you can get the first 8 issues, get the first 8 issues. Really good. Artwork's been amazing, as you guys saw. I showed you a little bit of it. Check it out. Okay, finally, the last book from Marvel, the Spectacular Spider-Man 1000. I don't think this is the 1000th Spectacular Spider-Man, I'm being honest with you, but oh well. Has nothing to do with Spider-Man, actually. It has to do with this boy who, not a boy, he's a teenager, who was going to buy drugs from this cartel guy, and the Punisher and Spider-Man show up, and Punisher wants to, warns him, if I see you again, you're gonna regret it, and Spidey kind of like saves him because the Punisher was gonna kill him. So ever since that confrontation, the guy's life has been changed. He wants to be like Spider-Man, and then it turns out that his father's abusive, and a few other. So it's all about this kid. The whole issue is about this kid, and then basically in the end of his father throws him out because this kid that he beat up before getting that whole revelation with Spider-Man comes to school with a gun and threatens to kill him. He pees his pants, gets expelled, gets thrown off the football team because he's on the football team. That's when the confrontation between his father and him happens. Father throws him out. He becomes a drug pusher or whatnot, and he gets into him and the boss Miguel get into a confrontation with Spider-Man, and he doesn't shoot Spider-Man, but Spider-Man still pins him to a wall and says, because he's like, I'm like you, I didn't kill you, I would have tried to, but I didn't, you're my hero. And he's like, a thug like you is why I became what I am, and he ends up in jail. And then they do a reprint of The Amazing Spider-Man 129, which is where the Punisher guest stars. I guess that's why there's the Punisher and Spider-Man on the cover. I guess it's because of the reprint, and the reprint was pretty nice. That was an enjoyable read, because that actually had Spider-Man in it. This entire story, there's no Spider-Man. All you see are little pictures and the one confrontation between Spidey and the Punisher where the kid runs off. After that, it's all about the kid again. This entire story, Peter Parker does make a guest appearance as a teacher at the time, but after that, it's all about this kid and him going down the wrong road, basically misconstruing everything about Spider-Man and ending up in jail. What will become of this? They don't say anything is going to become of this, so I guess this is just part of the story. You won't see that guy ever again. Is it worth your money? It's a skip. It's really a skip. It is not worth the $5. It has nothing to do with Spider-Man. I don't even know why they call this the Spectacular Spider-Man. They should have called this the Spectacular Spider-Man's messed up fan, because that's exactly what this was, other than the reprint. There was no Spider-Man in this book. Very little Spider-Man at all. Wasn't really that good. in my opinion. It's something you could skip. Moving into DC, a book I will be dropping because the story is just getting retarded. The game itself is retarded. DC Universe Online Legends number 6. It has no ramification with the current day DC Universe. Lex Luthor got into this explosion, or the debris from the satellite crashes down on Metropolis. Lex tries to avoid it and doesn't, and ends up in the Superman's moving the debris into an area where he knows nobody's at, but it turns out Lex Luthor's there. Lex loses his arm, his eye, and everything else. I'm like, are you kidding? This is not what would happen in the DC Universe at all. So this whole series is just ridiculous. So I decided against getting any more of this. I'll save myself some extra money. No offense. I'm not getting the game. In the future, everybody dies except Lex. And Lex is going to meet up with Batman in the future. Now, I don't know. It just isn't holding me anymore. The artwork is good. I got to admit that. But the story itself is just not holding me. And a lot of other reviewers and a lot of other people who I've talked to on YouTube that I've been talking to say they don't know why I'm buying it because the series is kind of ridiculous. And I'm starting to agree with them, and I actually agree with them enough that I'm going to be actually dropping this. The end. So you guys won't be seeing DC Universe Online anymore. Now we're getting into 2 books that are linked with Red Robin, which is why I had to get them. Gotham Sirens 22 and Batman 709, which is going to conclude the Judgment of Gotham. And thank you, by the way, somebody messaged me that all this started in Batman 708. But it turns out the story arc didn't actually begin until Red Robin. So I had to complete the story. In this book, Selina Kyle gets put through her judgment, and basically to save the city she has to kill her sister, and she says no. It was a good story. Actually, you might be interested in this. This is the Gotham Sirens. It's the women of the Gotham City. This one involves Catwoman. Next issue involves Harley about with the Joker, so you might want to look into that. I'll leave it here.
No, actually, leave it there.
Oh, you want to look into it? Okay. And in this issue, Dick Grayson fails also, but in the end, Azrael, somebody dies, and Azrael says, you know what, you all really did pass. So Red Robin, Selina, and Catwoman, and Dick, Batman, did pass the test, and he flies off. He's like, I'm the one that failed, and Gotham is saved the end. The reason I'm being very quick about this is because the artwork in Gotham Sirens was really, really good. But the artwork in Batman was okay, and the story itself was alright also. Red Robin made appearances in both issues. Catwoman made her appearance in here too. They all interlock. It concluded in Batman 709. The story is pretty good. I'd say check it out. It was pretty okay, but you knew everybody was going to pass the test in the end and Gotham was going to be safe.
Can I ask you a question?
What?
You thought that X-23 started here, right?
No. No, it didn't. It didn't. X-23 is on volume 2 or 3 already. I know that.
4.
4? Okay. Now, concluding the guest star appearance in Power Girl, Superman's guest appearance in Power Girl, Power Girl 23. Superman and Power Girl end up saving Zatanna. Zatanna and that guy end up having a spell war, so to speak, and the guy loses in the end, of course. And Power Girl starts her campaign with Star Labs. And the artwork, once again, is, you done? The artwork, once again, is really good. And the reason I'm rushing through these is because these are all guest appearances and guest, and interlocking stories that really don't need any, major talking. Yeah, exactly. They don't need any, extra help. Try to get a full-fledged picture of them. I get the first page.
I have a question. Do you want this?
Yes. I can get you another issue. Great artwork.
Please do.
Sure, no problem. You can actually stick this over here for now. I'll mention it later. And now on to Supergirl, which Amber had to read before the review because she wanted to hear about it. Supergirl 63. In this issue, a character in the very end shows up. Or a return. It's not really like a return. It's like it involves cloning. Yeah, it involves cloning.
Oh my god, it was good.
It turns out Alex isn't somebody new. He's a clone from somebody old. And he's been manipulating everything throughout the city. He's been just trying to keep Supergirl busy long enough so that he can recuperate his power. And I'm not going to even beat around the bush here, guys, because I'm sure a few of you have read this already, those of you who are fans. Anybody who's a fan of Cadmus Labs, or who's been a fan of the 90s, will know this character. Apparently, he's a clone with Kryptonian DNA of Duplex. He's the psychic that used to be in Cadmus Labs. For those of you who don't know who Duplex is, go do some research.
Good.
Cliffhanger.
No, not just that. Yes, it's a good cliffhanger, but this is a good episode of the comic.
Absolutely.
Issue. Sorry.
The artwork is great. Red Robin.
So short. They put like this entire section that had nothing to do with her.
I know, it was Lois interviewing that woman that actually freed
No.
the Duplex clone.
No.
Yes.
Not that. That's not what I mean.
What
In the end, with Batman and the Joker. And
that's a preview. This is a preview. It actually says
but
it.
It's a little annoying that it's in here. I wanted a little bit more of the story.
Amber, this is the actual comic. They throw these extra pages in as advertisement.
I'm not gonna get used to that.
Well.
I'm used to having novels.
Well. So the woman actually is the one that freed Duplex, and she actually gets put under mind control. And he's trying to mind control Red Robin. I thought this was epic. The way he finally cracked him was giving him his worst nightmare, which is him and his mother, Talia Head, and everybody else dead. Batman, which is his father, Batman, Dick Grayson, Commissioner Gordon, Red Robin, everybody, Batwoman, all dead. And that's how he cracks Robin. And it's to be continued. Really good. I love all the super titles. There's not one super title that I don't like. So, yeah. Enough said there. Speaking of super titles, let's continue along with Superman Batman 83. Superman is in the future, Batman's in the past. Basically, everything's coming full circle now. Batman in the future is talking about what caused the future, and it all involves magic, of course. And they mentioned that the Superman in that time tried to go back in time to prevent this all from happening, but they just ended up going back in time and preventing that, and etc. down the line. And even Batman said they're gonna go. If we go back, they'll go back, and we'll go all the way back to the cradles, where we'll be killing each other off in the cradle while we're in the cradle still. So it's up to Superman and Batman in the future to prevent the future from sending the monster to the past that starts the past to lead into the future. If you guys followed that at all. Basically, the future sends the past, the monster that causes the past to turn into the future. Try to stick with me on this. It's going to be concluded next time. The artwork, once again, is amazing. Superman can still fly, even though the sun is out, and he's questioning that. And they tell him that it turns out that Lois ends up dying, and that's what sends the future Superman into the past to try to fix things that much faster. And Aquaman in the future looks really... I'm trying to find a good picture of him. Because Batman in the future introduces him to the Future League. There's Aquaman. Also, Tracy 13, Steve Dove and his mother, and Jason Blood are all part of the remaining Justice League of America in the future. And also, the Caloran, now he's called the Warlock instead of the Witch Boy. In the present, he's called the Witch Boy. In this future, he's called the Warlock. And it's all to be included. I believe it says to be included. End of part 3, that's all it says. So it's probably most likely to be concluded in the next issue. Really good story. It's keeping me hooked. But you know that Superman is gonna prevent the future from sending the monster to the past, and that's how the story is gonna basically round out. But it's still awesome. Great artwork. I love the sword that they have him carrying. I'm a huge sword fan. So to see Superman of all people wielding a sword, which is where all his power comes from right now, pretty awesome. Oh, okay. So, apparently we've run close to the end, well, close to where this camera is going to go up. So we have 3 comic books left. Big comics left. So come back in part 2 where we'll round out everything and we'll conclude this week's comic review. I'll see you guys in part 2 while Amber's still reading Gotham Sirens.